Well, for me, I think we have to look at it as a program, of the Volleyball Association. So the first step is this tournament, but of course there are long-term goals, different tournaments. So like we said earlier in the game, before it started, we have to manage expectations. This is a new team, new girls, you can see, young girls, veterans. It's a mixture, but it's really important for them to start going out. Because they have to deal with the pandemic, you know.
Yes.
They have to deal, how are we going to deal with the pandemic? We just be careful, you know, as much as we can, but we have to compete because we have to continue the program.
Yeah, and now that we know the context of this whole tournament, just your general thoughts on the first game of Choco Mucho.
Well, for me, the second set is huge for them.
Yeah.
You know, it was a close match. We kind of knew that Thailand is stronger, but they showed, you know, they can play well together and make it close. So can you imagine if they gel more, if they train longer?
It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, so if in future tournaments, you're going to see them really compete.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned about the gelling, and maybe that was the most obvious issue that the team had. But then what happened that second set, in your opinion, that really got them close to getting it? Remember, they actually had set point at one point, and unfortunately, it fell apart for them in the end.
For me, if you look at the lineup, they're really strong players. So again, the gelling, no, but we can see in the second set, if they play well together, you know, they can actually compete. So that's just a glimpse of the future for me, which is good and positive for the national team.
And they were that close, no, to getting that, you know, that set. But how about the individual performances? Who stood out for you in that game?
For me, in the second set, it was Dina Wong and Mylene Paat. You know, they played well, mixed it up. Mylene Paat, we always say, plays well in international tournaments. And they played well. And everybody followed suit. We saw MJ Phillips and Kalemao play, you know, have points as well. Even Meneses. So those two players, actually, they're the spark plugs for the team. And again, we look to the future. The tournament right now is just a stepping stone for me.
Absolutely. And you know, I want to talk a bit about Mylene because you mentioned that, parang umiiba siya eh. When she puts on national team jersey. Just what's different about her when she plays for club and for country that kung baga sa basketball to, Gilas game.
Oh, mas magaling sa Gilas compared to like, let's say, the PBA.
That game's not great at the club level, but I'm just saying na parang umiiba yung level niya eh. What is it about Mylene?
For me, I think she's just more fun. I mean, that's for me. Arguably, but she just seems more focused when she's in international tournaments, and she gets the opportunity to play. And when she does, the confidence that she brings out in the game, it's a different Mylene Paat. So it's very exciting to see.
And how about, you know, they lost that game in 3 sets, but what do you think they can improve on more, you know, looking forward?
Mahaba yating listahan. I just heard your side.
No, first ball, really. It all stems there. If you have poor first ball, everything else will fall apart. So that's one thing they struggled in today's game. So in the future games, they just have to have solid first pass, and you can see the offense will flow.
Well, you know, looking at that first ball, I also felt that this team, talking about Choco Mucho, medyo na-scout sila eh. It felt that way because it felt like a lot of people were avoiding our libero. And it felt like nothing was going her way. And what does that tell you about the attention to detail of the level of the competition that we have here in the AVC?
Well, obviously, you know, the Thailand team is a very strong team, very smart team. They've been playing together for so long. They will scout. And Don Macandili has made a name for herself already. And the smart team that they are, they know who to give it to and who not to. And obviously, that's one thing we have to do in future games.
And you mentioned that team played well together. They've been playing long for a while now. But compared to our team, you know, they trained in a bubble, not a lot of games for them. Ano yung difference nun na syempre game shape is different from training? Do you think that's a point to, you know, look at when it comes to this team?
Yeah, obviously, I mean, the fitness and the attitude of these girls really, you need more training. You need more training. It's obvious, It's obvious. It's a club championship, and you can see at Thailand, obviously, they're just enjoying, played very long together. So again, I keep saying, I keep reiterating, it's just a stepping stone for, you know, the program, and we just have to be hopeful as fans and support the national team.
Well, you know, speaking about supporting the national team, they're not the only national team out there. Rebisco's now playing against Altai. The expectations of the teams are a bit different because of the composition. Well, at least originally that was the case, but then the rosters had to be shuffled. what are your expectations for them in this tournament? I know the game is currently ongoing. So if you're actually watching us instead of that game, thank you very much. But yeah, what are your expectations of this Rebisco team?
I'm actually very excited because a lot of young players there who didn't see action because of the start of COVID.
Yeah.
Like you have Faith Despares and so on. No? So I'm pretty excited to see them and for them to get the exposure. Again, manage expectations and we have to give it to them not to grow in this tournament and in future tournaments. But I'm excited. I'm really psyched and excited and hopeful for Team Rebisco.
Well, so for the fans out there, they really can't, expect a lot of wins right away. They have to trust the process for this tournament. And it's going to be exciting what's going to happen soon.
Absolutely. And actually, to talk a bit more about that, because we were saying that, okay, so this is the start for maybe some of the younger players out there. It's going to be tough for them to gain all that experience. But based on what we've seen so far in that first game, and if I'm sure Rebisco looked at that game, Choco Mucho as well, do you feel that right now the emphasis will have to be maybe more on floor defense and trying to make sure that you're not as leaky in terms of giving away points as compared to maybe just like focusing on the offense the entire time?
Oh, yeah, we always say even in other sports, defense is the best offense.
Yeah.
So if you have solid defense, at least your offense can relax a bit. But it's really basic. Let's go back to basic. Volleyball 101, first pass.
Yeah.
First pass should be solid if you're playing against strong teams, if you want to have a chance to keep it close.